Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Miss Shirley. Thank you so much for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I have a special message for you, but I'm going to wait until more people come in. Miss Shirley, can you see me and hear me well? You hit the like button, you're going to sleep. Oh, you are home. That was my question. Well, let me just say this to you. Mike, thanks for coming and welcome. Miss Shirley, my mother watches the show. She's sitting up in their chair right now with her lipstick on. Ain't going nowhere outside in the snow. But after my live stream on Thursday, she doesn't hear every word that's going on. So I called her and she specifically asked about you, and she said, what's wrong with Miss Shirley? Why is Miss Shirley in the hospital? And mommy's old school, she calls you Miss Shirley. I said she had a transplant, Mom. So she said, well, tell Miss Shirley I'll come get her out of the hospital. I'll take care of her. Isn't that so sweet? Thank you, Mike. Thanks for coming and welcome and welcome, welcome. Get some rest, Miss Shirley. I know what it's like. Trust me, I have had two of those bad boys. Almost homesteading with Janet. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Janet, I know I got your message earlier, and I know that you will be following along. Excuse me. Use my inhaler. Oh, Fifi, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Fifi, you had me going in all the stores when you had your turmeric and your ginger. How did you get it? You have to do a video to tell us how you got it sprouted so quick. Before you even put it in the ground, it was sprouted. Maria Graham, thank you. Mama Panky's about to do a jailbreak with Miss Shirley. She would. Oh, we kind of discouraged my mother from driving now at 93 years old, but she had a lead foot, y'all. She had she had a car with a big engine in it, and she put her foot up in it. She used to go around the corner whipping it with one finger. Whoop whoop whoop. And she used to drive. I'm going to welcome everybody in in a minute, but I want to tell Miss Shirley before she takes her little nap. Mommy would get up in the morning and she would drop me off at Howard University, like when we went back to school. Then she would drive back to Connecticut and she would get my brother and my sister, the ones closest in age to me, and drive them to Boston and drop them off in college and then come home. She was a driving somebody. Woo. She used to scare me. I'm like, Mom, let that car in. She'd be like, zoom, zoom. Okay, Mom, I'll get my foot at you. I won't say anything else about you, Mother. So I would like to thank those of you here on a replay. I would like to thank all of you subscribers. Sometimes I forget to say that word, but I would like anybody who's not a subscriber to hit the thumbs up, turn the bell on, and then you will know when I go live. And you won't miss any of my shenanigans or nonsense or fun. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. My daughter called me today and she was saying, oh, Mom, I'm tired. Dolores, pink hand waving. I don't know if it's pink, but I see you waving. Hello. Thanks for coming and welcome. I would like to thank the moderators. I would like to thank the friends and family members because without you, I wouldn't have a channel. So I appreciate each and every one of you. So we're going to have an exciting time tonight. I know that some of you are planning on making the casserole dish or table mats or a table runner, a placemat, I'm trying to say. But I thought about it and I was trying to think of a way that you could do this inexpensively. And those of you who are collecting jeans, you can cut your jeans into strips. You can even use children's jeans would be great for this. Why? Because they're small. And I would get like 2 or 3 different colors of jeans and take the seams out. Mother, Maria Grandma's saying hello. She listens when I say mother because nobody calls her mother. It's like the squeaky wheel getting the grease and whatnot. Mommy, Egoamote, I love you. So I was thinking that a way that you can make these for cheap or for free and they would look nice. I'm thinking about a set around here, and that is to make them out of, oh, Almost Homesteading with Janet said that she's going to use jeans and that she's going to use her table runner as a display in a shop. Now, I made my I made my strips when it got down to the end of it, and ow Hershey, come. I don't know why he's being a brat. He wants me to pick him up. You keep the turmeric and ginger in a dark, warm place, so they're looking for the light. Oh, that's what I thought because that's how I do mine. My helper was here this week, and look, you guys, my 2 front teeth aren't chipped anymore. I fell last year after I had a knee replacement. I said transplant. I had a knee replacement last year, and I tripped and fell, and I chipped my 2 front teeth. Well, I got my 2 permanent crowns put in this week. Oh, the devil's always busy. I accidentally went in the store today, and some things fell in my cart, but oh boy, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Well, I have so many things to tell you, but you can buy fabrics in the Dollar Tree. They have fat quarters there. You can use old jeans, and if you use jeans, you don't have to use any batting because the jeans will be thick enough if you use all jeans. And I was going to tell you, Janet, if you make I made my strips 2.5 inches. That's what they come in the jelly roll. But if you cut them, I made them 18 inches long. Some people in the store, you say beautiful as always, Auntie. Oh, thank you, Mike. I was feeling, I was feeling some kind of way. My smile is crooked anyway, but the 2 front ones were like dented in on the inside, and I was worried to death that something would happen. So if you use jeans, old jeans, and you can use shirts, but Janet, sometimes when you mix fabrics with jeans, the jeans are heavier than the fabrics. Like say shirting. Shirting is usually thin. Mona sifting some soil. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, all of you. And oh, let me put Hershey down. Oh, he's getting heavy. He was with me the other day. I went to the dentist. So my helper dropped me off and I went inside. It was supposed to take an hour. It took an hour and a half. And the Dollar Tree is right next door. So when she came back to pick me up, I said, "Oh, I will be inside the Dollar Tree. Why? It's not my fault. It's not my fault, you guys. What had happened was all of you were going in the Dollar Tree in your towns. Mine is just a dinky one. Janet is mixing her jeans with cotton. No, you can put an iron on stabilizer in the back of the cotton if it's thin shirting. If it's thin, or just leave it like it is, it'll be all right. You know, everybody gets hung up about the details. Just enjoy what you're doing. Mona sifting some soil. Janet wants to know, what are you crocheting today? Mother, do you have your crochet out for your new great grandbaby that's coming? I will help you when I see you. I know you have a lot of new thread in your closet, and I will help you with it. And we'll say it's just from you, Mother. It's not going to go badly, Janet. Nothing really goes badly. Nothing goes gladly. Mona is working on a hat. I don't know if you guys saw because it snowed in Louisiana and Grow Family Network. I think I think King's mother was crocheting the hats. All the kids were out there in Louisiana in the snow, laying down, making snow angels. His wife had on a big one. Okay, you don't have to use interfacing, or you can double it. Don't double it because then it'll be slipping and sliding. Just wing it. Just wing it. It'll be nice anyway. But I'm going to make one table runner. I think because I have a lot of skinny pieces left over from when I made my mother's quilt. Mother, we're talking about your king size denim quilt. For those of you who are new who have not been following, I made my mother a king size denim quilt. It was 112 inches wide by 96 inches long. That thing was so big I couldn't even put it over my shoulder to work on it. So I sent it to a long armor. You were worried for a don't be worried. Don't be worried. It'll be pretty no matter what. And the thicker parts will not only be beautiful, but it will take protect your table. Me, I have a glass table that I eat on. So it will protect it. Like if I don't put hot plot pots on it or pans, but it will protect it against scratches as well as from anything with heat. No, so you're not. So, Janet, you can start if you haven't seen the video from Thursday, and any of you, you can cut your strips 2.5 inches wide I made mine 18 inches. Why? Because some of the table mats you get at the store, even if you eat on the paper plate, I know a lot of people eat on paper plates now. There's no room on that little thing. Oh, my shoulder hurts. I don't know why probably from carrying those bags out the Dollar Tree in the grocery store. Oops, did I say that? Yes, I have a glass table. Mine is a really thick glass table, Janet. I want to say it's the glass on it is thicker than 1/3 of an inch. It's really thick, and it has a chrome silver sculpted base on the bottom. You have the strips cut, about to iron them to sew into twosies. So I will keep talking because it won't take long. Even if you just make one, you can use it for a casserole dish. That this table you can't break it. It's really heavy. It's really heavy. It's not one of the thin ones that sit down into wood or anything. This is so heavy that it's just sitting on I won't say a tripod because there's four braces that go down under it, and then a cross base on the bottom. A lot to clean if you can get down there. Hey, Donzel Cooper, welcome in, nephew. Thank you for coming and welcome. Robin Murphy, thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you. So, Janet, I can't wait to see your table mat out of denim. I have to work on doing one. And I have some fabric. I had a piece that I bought for a project and I didn't like it for the project. A lot of you know that I like batiks and I like African fabrics. I had a meeting yesterday, a Zoom meeting. My sister Joanne Stevens was in the meeting as well because we're doing a special quilt for a challenge. And a quilting challenge, and there are people in there from all over the world, Australia, some of the European countries, just a lot. And everybody was showing what they're doing. Guess what? I'm going to do more than one project because I have so many started. And batik is something like this, Janet. This is a batik. It didn't go out. It didn't go out, Gina, if you're watching the replay or if you see this, because I had an emergency dentist appointment Friday because my permanent crowns came in and they had to mush around my mouth and mush around my mouth. And then that was yesterday. And then today I was just tarred because I had to walk from the parking lot. I'm I'm good, you guys. I had two knee surgeries. I had a hip surgery. I can't walk far or stay very long, but I'm very strong and I'm good. But I walked from this long parking lot to the dentist's office. Then from the dentist's office, I accidentally walked in the Dollar Tree and all over the whole store. Why? Because all of y'all in warm states were getting all these seeds. Do I need seeds? No. But I wanted a rolling base for one of my big plants that I have in my bathroom. I have a bathroom the size of a bedroom. Why? Because I live in a senior handicapped apartment, and the bathroom is big enough that if I had one of those big street worthy wheelchairs, that I could roll it around my whole kitchen, anywhere in here. The doors are the extra wide frames, like exterior doors inside in my bathroom. I could roll it around, go over to the shower, get out. I have a walk-in shower. So, yeah. Yeah, so going back to Janet, you don't have to use a you don't have to use batting if you don't want. But this is a batik, and the batik is very fine. It's almost like silk. It's almost like silk. This is Gina's batik pillow. I was looking for some fabric for something. Oh, the backing for these table mats, and I saw this, and I knew blue was her favorite color, so this is her new one. So this is a batik, and how is a batik different? It's usually hand dyed fabric. Some places use machines, and they use commercial dye. But in a lot of the places that I get my fabrics from, they're hand dyed in the villages and using natural inks, and it's very thick. And one of the trademarks of it is that I'm looking to see if I have a piece nearby that I can show you both sides. I do not, but it's so saturated with the natural dyes that you can't tell the front from the back. And depending on where you get the batiks, some Indonesia is famous for batiks, and a lot of the African countries are famous for batiks. One of the places that I get my African fabrics is a place online. They're on Facebook called Quilt Africa Fabrics. I can tag them in the description. And one of the things they're doing there, because in some countries, the girls don't get to go to school. And in a lot of the countries, it's very rural. I follow a couple of channels just out of curiosity to see how people live in the villages in Africa and what they eat, how they cook their food. A lot of the times it's outside, sometimes inside. Oh, let me show you this. I don't have any boutiques in here, but let me sit back so I can use my chest for I think I finished those of you who watch me live, I finished my art quilt. This is my African hut. That's the name of it. And in some of the villages, they have they have a piece of metal coming out of the roof so that they can cook inside. They cook on wood. They burn wood on this little frame and put the pots on it. I don't want to get lipstick on it, but this is a whole bunch. Some of you saw me sew these, so I took these African fabrics and sewed them into a roof on a tent. I mean, on a hut, and these little ornaments on the side. This is actually hand beaded fabric. I don't know if I hold it still long enough. Those are little green beads that are hand sewn on. I don't know where these two particular pieces came from. My daughter gave them to me, and you can see where I machine quilted around the outsides. I don't do a lot of hand sewing because I'm 76 years old. I have arthritis in my hands and I can go faster with the sewing machine. The little star above the doorway, I hand cut out of a piece of fabric. The door frame, the door itself is, those are French knots, and those are hand embroidered pieces. That's Ankara wax dyed fabric on the bottom. And Turtle Island, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. This fabric here is called Shui Shui, and it is a, I guess you could call a patented fabric. When the Dutch ruled South Africa, one of my friends is from South Africa, and he worked with my daughter. He knew that m- her mother was a quilter, and gave me some of these pieces. Sissy, I meant to send you some, but I think there are some squares somewhere at your house that I left when I was cutting out all those charm squares for the table runners at your house. But this shui shui is like geometric prints, and it's actually stamped inside by the government, like we do with the meats here and here. Turtle Island, I don't remember seeing you before, but welcome, welcome, welcome. So the lady that I buy a lot of the fabrics from. She has a small business. She said, "Oh, and the back, it's already has the cotton inside for the batting, and this is hand dyed brown fabric on the back. I just wanted it to look natural, so that's my piece. I'm still going to do some hand beating. Oh, you do have some, sissy? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. So this village where the lady gets a lot of the fabrics from and in the area, a lot of the girls don't go to school. Why? Because a certain time of the month, they don't have the toiletries, we'll call it, that they need. So there are some people, some groups, I don't have the dimensions, that are sewing sanitary napkins for the girls so that they can have them, and helping to build some of the schools. We're also donating quilts because the kids go into the village. They have to walk down these mud roads. There are no paved roads over there. And they walk down these dirt roads, and I think they come home not even on the weekends. So they sleep on whatever they have, like grass or straw, whatever they have. So we were donating quilts to some of the children in one particular village that she's familiar with. And I will be making some of the pads to send over there for the young girls. You do crazy quilts? I have a really nice crazy quilt. I did some hand sewing, and I it's not out here. It's not out here right now. But you come back Turtle Island and I'll take it out. You can't afford a sewing machine? Where is everybody from in the chat? Turtle Island, the very best quilts are made by hand. I can't I can't sew by hand too long because my hands hurt. But I'll show you something. If you look at my stitching, and I'm proud of this, you guys, all my bindings. Can you see this, you guys? I hand sew. I put my bindings on from the front, and I hand sew them from the back. And yes, I miter all of my corners because I'm fancy. I'm fancy. But you see all these little stitches? I do that by hand, but I can't do everything by hand. Turtle Island. And I just love the crazy quilts. I love when you put extra beading in it, extra embroidery. You're from the west coast of, oh, Vancouver. Okay. Okay, Turtle Islands and nice by. I know how to sew by hand. When I started sewing was 70 years ago. And thank you. I'm so glad to meet you. We're glad to have you in the family. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. Fifi is from Massachusetts near me. Janet, almost homesteading, is in Indiana. Maria Graham is in South Carolina. Me, Auntie Ellen, I'm in Connecticut, cold Connecticut. But I used to work on the weekends in Boston sometimes, Fifi. And it was like a 2.5 hour drive from here. And I would drive up, teach a class. I used to teach some college classes to a place called Inroads, and where the summer school classes were in the Prudential building downtown. The embellishments, I have a lot of embellishments. I have hand crochet, I have embroidery, and bunches and bunches of stuff. Auntie Joanne Stevens is in Arizona. Why do I keep calling her Auntie Joanne? Because she is an elder, and because she really is my sister. And that's what the kids call her. And I am a member of, well, I have been alive for for 8 generations. There are 6 living generations right now. Stop, Hershey. And my mom is watching on her TV now. My mother's 93. Oops, I accidentally told your age, mother. Oh, the good daughter is being bad again. So, and then I have 2 children. Stop, Hershey. Come. 2 children, 2 grandchildren, 3 great grandchildren, and 1.5 great grandchildren. So I'm expecting another great grandson in May. I wasn't calling you to come over here. I just want you to stop it. I live in a building, a senior building. You have to be at least 62 years old to live in here. I have a handicapped apartment, but you don't have to be. Yes, mommy's 93 years young. And my daughter was saying, oh, she calls her mommy. Mommy loves to watch this show. Lots of cyber nieces and nephews and and niece daughters and just all the time growing up. I was telling you, my daughter was tired because she went to a birthday party for one of my adopted niece daughters, one of the neighbor's daughters who lived near my first house that I bought in 1973 when my son was 2 years old. Remember that house, Sissy? Oh, I got my first time home buyers program. I got something, and it was rough because women didn't buy houses by themselves back then. But I was able to get this house. And this house, I don't know how it was for sale. It should have been condemned. There was animal poop in the basement where they had some German shepherds in down there, and it had been trashed. So I graduated from Howard University in 1970 when I was 21 years old. So I knew about business. I Turtle Island says, "Have a blessed evening. Come back again, Turtle Island." Auntie Joanne was with me when we went down that basement. She said it was scary. So I had my little business degree and economics, and I also studied law. And I wrote in the margins of the contract, bring up to FHA standards. I wanted the walls painted off white, everything. Of course, they had to sanitize the basement, sterilize it. They had to replace the front door. it had wood floors. They had I had a choice to either refinish the floors or put carpet. I didn't want no stinking carpet on it, so they refinished all the wood floors. It was very nice. It was very nice. Turtle Island. This is a sign language. This is an I. This is an L. This is a U. This means I love you in American Sign Language. Your family, come back, come back, come back, come back. So my daughter went to a birthday party of her friend's sister, one of the friends that grew up with me, and they call me Mommy Penny. People used to come to my job. I mean, to my house. Stop, Hershey. Oh, Auntie Joanne, he hears your name. He keeps trying to crawl up my sensitive knee. My sensitive knee hasn't been 1 year since my knee replacement, and it's still tender. And he wants me to pick him up. So you're all adopted. You're all my nieces and nephews, and sons and daughters, and just family. So, and the young lady whose party that my daughter went to last night, she calls me Mommy Penny. All the kids call me Mama Penny, Aunt Penny, Auntie. Yes. So let's move right along because Janet is sewing her twosies so she can put her placemat where she sews some of her products. Oh, wait, Turtle Island, before you go, if you put exclamation mark GQUAT, it will drop your link and we can come and find you. Okay? And we will be your family and catch up on what you're doing and see what you're doing. And blessings. So, you guys, I'm looking to see all the notes that all the different projects I'm working on. So, if any of you would like to donate to the channel or to help others, one of the things why Mr. Hershey is agitated and downstairs in my building, we have karaoke on Saturdays. And he hears the music down there, people singing and doing things. You're doing your threesies. You're doing your 7 wide. Oh, that will be nice. Oh, I'm just talking and working. I'm going to do at least 15 minutes a day, you guys, to do something, whether you're painting. I am a mixed media artist, but fiber art, textiles are my passion, and quilting. So, the wider you make the piece that you're making, you can use it for a casserole dish. Janet is going to use hers as a cover to put. She makes lotions and she has things in tins. She has lip gloss. She has a lot of little things that she sells. Stop, Hershey. He's really agitated. He hears people walking up and down the halls. So, get back to what happened to me. Excuse me, you guys. Keep my whistle wet. I've had bronchitis for the last month, and it seems to be okay. But when the dentist had all that stuff hanging out my mouth, my lips are a little swollen from them leaning on me. But look, my two front teeth aren't cracked anymore. So I accidentally went in the Dollar Tree. Let me move this so that I don't stick it in my eyes. Well, I went in there to get some seeds, but in my apartamiento, even though I keep giving things away and donating them, I didn't have one single extra clothes hanger. And they had these clothes hangers in there. It wasn't in the $1.25 section. They were $5, but you got 15 of them, and they're pretty heavy duty. Some of the ones you get are so thin, they bend when you take little things like kimonos off or kaftans. So this will be going in my closet. Excuse me. Swallowing air. And then while I was looking for the seeds and looking, my helper went and found them while I was looking. But look at these for my garden. How cute are these? So I have a butterfly, and my windmills from last year were plastic and broke. These are actually metal. So I have that. I have my little bee house that I'm getting. So I will stick those out there and pretty it up. I have two brand new galvanized metal beds that I fertilize. I put the bone meal, blood meal, uh, all the stuff, the vermiculite, the all that stuff. So they'll be ready to plant as soon as the weather breaks. But I wasn't such a bad girl. Oh, couple things. I accidentally bought two things of candy. One was for a gift from Mr. Hershey to one of my neighbors upstairs who always buys him coats and treats and everything. And I saw this little box and I wanted to just make some cookies and put in it. But when I opened it, look what happened. It didn't have like just the top and a thing to put cookies. Anthony, my nephew's son, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So this thing had a space for four candies. I accidentally ate them. I had two yesterday, two today. I wanted to make sure that my two new crowns were in good and proper. So, but I think I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and cut this out so that I can put homemade cookies in it. The other ones is over there, and I can always use this heart for a pattern for something. My signature is three purple hearts, so this is like a middle size, medium size heart. So instead of a mail haul, I did a slight seed haul. My helper walked around the store because I was pushing this cart all over the place. Oh, there's something on the end of this that I forgot to show you. Shh, Hershey, stop. So I found a little book for Rylan. Just a minute, you guys, please. Sorry, I had to put it on mute. So I got a little book for Rylan just because this little opossum on the front was really cute. And he say nosy posy. My grandmother used to call us nosy Rosie when we were sticking our nose in other folks' business. I didn't really need any seeds. I was just jealous because all of y'all were getting seeds and I wanted something new. But some of the seeds I dropped didn't germinate in my aero garden and the other hydroponic over there. So I wanted some seeds. Oh, but let me show you one thing that's growing that did not grow from seeds. Hold on one second, you guys, because this was a little, excuse me, this was Janet, almost homesteading with Janet, sent me. She had three little things of comfrey. I don't know if you can see this little stump here. This thing was this big when she sent it. Janet, look at all this comfrey. I kept it inside and babied it, and it had one little leaf that I wasn't sure was going to live. And right now it has one, two, three, four, five, six, and a new baby one. Oops, dirt on my computer. That's okay. I have a little pad on the keyboard. But I will put this over here. But look at my comfrey Janet. And I had one person that asked me for a piece of it. When the root gets big enough to to split, I will. Do you see him? He's really growing. So, what seeds did I buy? I bought seeds that I can plant right now without climbing up on that bookcase and getting that big container of seeds. I'm trying to I don't know if you can see. This is a 6-foot bookcase, but it has all the stuff in the front. Uh, my seeds are there, but I'm not going to do my real garden until June. Why? Because that's when it defrosts here in Connecticut. And I will be back from my wrecking of Auntie Joanne's house. I'm going to Arizona for a month for her birth anniversary. So I got some spinach. One can always eat spinach. It shrivels down and gets so small when you grow it. And Auntie Joanne grew these radishes. They grow so fast, so fast. So I'm going to plant some of these. I saw some cloches too when I was in there. I resisted the urge to get 10 of them, but I'm thinking I might have to make a return trip because I have limited space in here. I have one little table that I plan on. Psalm 146, welcome. Welcome. Miss Shirley, I hope you're resting. This is basil. I use basil almost every day. So I have a small plant over there. I had two, but I ate them down to the bone. I nipped it down too far, and it was just a piece from the grocery store, and you pay so much for it. I didn't want it to wilt, so I stuck it in some water. It rooted. Then I took one. I propagated it and grew some more. So I got some basil. I got 8 packs. Long story short, thyme. I bought more thyme. Why? Because I use thyme in a lot of stuff, especially like when I make curry goat or some of my curries. I like to put thyme in it. More basil. Why? Because one can never have enough basil. Cilantro, because I have Taco Tuesday and I make a lot of Spanish dishes. Onions. Why? Because one can never have enough onions. And I have some lavender. I'm going to actually put this in the freezer because I think this has to be stratified. I think that it has to be overwintered in the cold. So I'm going to put it in the freezer like I did my other seeds, and some dill. So that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. So, you guys, I'm going to take my handy dandy cough drop with me. I'm going over to the sewing machine. Excuse me. And that wasn't a cough. I don't know what that was, clearing my throat. I should take my water. I don't have water over there. And see if there's anything else I need to carry. Mr. Hershey, knock it off. Okay. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Hershey, stop. Because I'm walking fast and I don't want to make you guys dizzy. I'm right here. Right here, right here, right here. Okay. So Janet's sewing her threesies together. Oh, I see what she's doing. I'm back, you guys. Hi, Catherine's Garden and Home. You were one of the people, Lady Catherine, who sent me in that Dollar Tree just as if you had dropped me off yourself. I saw you shopping and getting seeds the other day, and I said, she's so close to me. She's in Massachusetts. Well, surely they didn't drive from wherever the warm places and leave through Connecticut to drop hers off for her and Fifi and not leave any for me. So we are at my sewing machine, and I will put this down so that you can see that I have done my homework. And I appreciate each and every one of you for coming in on a Saturday night. Sissy Roscoe said to tell you your locks are looking good. I was thinking, thanks you guys. This is a new journey. My sister Joanne has her hair and locks, but her hair is doing something different than mine. Hers is like hair and it's down to her waist, and mine is kind of curly fuzzy doing something. But I'm not able to get my arms above my head. They said I need rotator cuff surgery. Not doing it. They got enough titanium in me. I'm not doing anything else. So thank you, brother Roscoe. I saw you with your new sports shirt on Instagram as well. So you guys, what we are doing is making placemats. These particular placemats, and I did 6 of them because many of you who have tables that seat 6, 8, or 10, me, I have. I'll put the camera down a minute so you can see it. Maria says, "Thank you. They're looking good. The locks. This is not because of anything I'm doing that I'm supposed to be doing. I sprayed it with some water before I came in here when I brushed my teeth and washed my face. So the other night live, I sewed 2 of these. There are 6 together now. And Janet, you asked a question about batiks. This fabric, this top one, let me do it this way. This fabric and this fabric are both batiks. I'll turn it on the back because you can see them, and you can see that the back, the fabric, the color is almost as intensely dyed as the front. And I have done projects with boutiques where I intentionally use the back on the front because I didn't want a lot of detail. I can't really see the chat, all the details, you guys, because I'm running around in here getting things ready before I go live, and I couldn't find my phone. Ah, I just found it. It's in the kitchen on the counter, but I don't really need it. So this is a the fabric that I've decided I'm going to put on the back of my table runner. So my table runner, and if you're using this is actually a thicker fabric than the batik that I was going to use, and I just thought it was different. So I had several yards of this that I bought for a backing at one of my favorite quilt shops where they sell really good luxurious fabrics, and it was on sale I think for $5 a yard or maybe $10 a yard. But I bought several yards of it, and I thought it would be nice and thick. Like, for example, I wouldn't mind mixing this with jeans, and it's blue, it would actually go with jeans. So I cut this my strips when I sew them together. Yours will depend, the width of your table runner will depend on your seams. I use 1/4 inch seams. If you can see these, so the 1/4 inch is fairly thin, and but it will take a 1/2 inch off. My pieces ended up being about 12.5 inches. So I cut some pieces of fabric for the backing, actually 13 inches. Why? Because I want the backing to be a little bit bigger than the front. And Janet asked me about using scraps. I found some scraps that are almost this size that I'm going to put on the back. So I will put, oh, this is my stiff knee. I'm putting it over here. And I've cut 6 of these. Tampa's Creek, welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all are looking right cute in those hats. Going to tea. Auntie Joanne and I used to go to high tea all the time when I was in LA, when we were both in LA. So thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget, those of you who are content creators, to put exclamation mark GQUAT, like you see on the left of your screen, and that will drop your channel link. Okay. So that gives my moderators a break. So I'm going to put this down a little bit so that you can see how I measure the backing. So I always make the backing a little bit bigger than the front. Hershey, come. He hears those people doing karaoke. He is disturbed. So I'm placing the front of the mat over here, and the salvage I'm not going to keep that. Sometimes when you have something with a salvage on it, it it shrinks differently. So if this is going to be a table mat, there's going to be food and whatnot on there, and I want to be able to wash it. So I didn't cut this with the rotary cutter because I wanted to show you guys and do it in front of you. I put the top on top of the backing, and I leave this part, the part with the fold in it. If you have fabric with a fold in it, I leave it because when you open it up, then you have twice as much fabric. And I'm just going to cut across with these great big old tailor's shears. So now this little piece has now turned into all of this. Let me see what size it is. Oh, good. So it's 6 inches. I like that. Why? Because there is a type of pre-cut fabric that you buy that's called charm squares, and they're 5 inches. So I can iron this, take the crease out, and get at least two 5 inch squares. And then the other scraps I can use for other things, for postcards. Fabric postcards. So I will put this over here to be used. This is 2 pieces of fabric, the backing. I will separate them. Why? Because I don't want to forget and sew the two together. So whenever whenever you are sewing anything, I'm just putting this down so you guys can see it. You put right sides together, or as Unbiased says, the pretty sides together. So I'm putting this pretty side on top of this pretty side. Actually, I'm just evening them up so that when I sew around them, and I am going to sew around the side. You can pin them, not pin them. You can clip them. So I'm just going to put a couple of clips to hold it in place. Why? Because, hey Hershey. Oh, he's being very needy tonight. And I have, oh, that one's a smaller piece. Some batting. So this batting happens to be cotton batting. Why? Because it's thick, it's lightweight, and it will cushion the table. So I'm going to also line this up, but I'm going to put the batting on the bottom. I'm going to smooth it out. Wow, it's sticking already. A lot of people take batting and use it and they use the batting for a design wall. If you take just batting and you put your blocks up against it, they'll stick and they'll hold. So I've got the batting up there, got all 3 layers. I have all 3 layers, and what I'm going to do is sew around all 3 of them and leave an opening so that I can turn it inside out. They call this the flip and sew method. So I'm clipping these together a little to make sure that I have all 3 layers. Oh, while I'm at it, you guys, because I was quilting on Dolores's quilt, some of you saw me with improvised Dollar Tree gloves. This is what my actual quilting gloves look like, and they can be expensive depending on how you get them. These are my color. Why? Auntie Joanne gave them to me for a gift, but they're lightweight. They have little grippy things on them on both hands, and I use this when I'm quilting. So I don't need it for this small piece. So I've got this smoothed around, and let's turn this machine on and see what we can do in 15 minutes. How are you doing, Janet? Janet is making one in the background. I think that I will. I will just. Where are my pins? Actually, I'll stick a couple more clips in here. Because this is not totally even. I will cut the rough edges off in a minute. So this will take like 3 minutes, and that's wrinkled, but I'm going to go, and away we go. I'm going to sew 1/4 inch seams, and I'm using a straight stitch on the Singer heavyweight machine. Because there's several thicknesses, I'm using a number 3mm stitch length and 0 stitch width. Okay, so let's sew. This will be a quickie. So I'm going to do a couple stitches forward, a couple stitches back, and away we go. So I'm going to do a full thick 1/4 inch. You can make yours a little bit wider if you want. Oh no. Don't tell me my machine is not threaded. Hold on, you guys. Well, life happens, especially when you go live, right? So, give me a minute. So, whenever your thread breaks or anything happens, always save yourself some frustration and put a fresh end on it. And my little trick I learned from high school, put something white in back of it, even if it is an old beat up tissue. The light's kind of funny over here. I can't actually see the. Oh, I know what. These are my cube glasses. Put on my Dollar Tree glasses, and I'll see it like a charm. Because those are reading glasses. I rolled over on the bed on my good reading glasses. Why? Because I have books on the bed and I read. Just like you, Mother. My bed looks like your bed. It's all books on it. On the other side, my significant other is books. Okay, so now I can put on my cute glasses and see you all. You just subbed yourself with a pin? Oh, stabbed yourself with a pin. Okay, you guys, pescatarian gardener. I saw you planting and all the stuff you were doing since you can't go outside. It snowed in your neck of the woods. Thanks for coming and welcome, 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 welcome. We are, for those of you who just came in, making a table mat, the placemat, and Janet is sewing in the background, almost homesteading with Janet, and she is using denim in hers. She's making hers. Um, I'm using 2.5 inch strips times 6. Janet is making hers with 7 strips across. Okay, so now we've got her threaded again. Let's. Oh, and you put your presser foot up, you guys. It's a little tip. Put your presser foot up when you thread your needle. It takes the tension. It takes the tension off of the thread. So, couple stitches forward, couple stitches back, and feel it. Don't just sew haphazardly. Feel where you're sewing and make sure that you can feel the batting in the back. So the batting is actually really, really on the bottom. On the bottom. So away we go. And after I sewed my strips together, Janet, I pressed them so that all the seams went in one direction. Because when you're sewing it, it makes it easier if you don't have to go around, one this way, one that way. Okay. So these will be cute. Joanne Stevens, Uncle Roscoe's watching. I know what you're saying. This, this, these table mats will match your dining room table with that purple hand-dyed tablecloth, hand walked over from Senegal by our friend. You're sewing too. You're making a pillowcase for your cervical pillow for your neck and shoulder. Good for you. We just showed a bunch of those pillows. I have, well, there are different types of cervical pillows. I have a couple of neck bone pillows, and one person who bought a neck bone pillow also asked for me to make a pillowcase for it, which I did. You guys wonder why I'm always working on so many projects at one time, because I usually have things that I'm working on, like for this quilting challenge that Auntie Joanne and I are in. And Melanie Taylor, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I see that you're new here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not sure if you're a content creator, but if you put exclamation mark GQUAT, we can still find your channel and find you and become a part of your family as well. So we're making a table runner out of jelly rolls. Some of us cut jelly rolls, or you can make your own by taking a 2.5 inch piece of fabric by 18 inches is a good size. And I'm just making sure I got all of the pieces. I can feel them because I'm using scraps, so they might not all catch. But I'll show you a trick I do about that. I'm thinking these will match my table too, but I don't even need 6. I only need 3 because why? My table's up against the wall over there. So now I'm sewing against the way the seams are pressed down. Pescatarian, this is an easy project for you too. And I actually want to make a set of these in old jeans. And I have a piece of African fabric over there that I couldn't find anything to match it. And it's really heavy. I think that I want to use that with some denim. Hold on one second, you guys. I'm going to show you real quick because I can see it from here. Oh, I think I've pieced on it so much I don't have enough. But this, oh no, I do have enough to make at least 2. But I had this fabric. Or maybe I could just make 1. This would be a nice one for a display, Janet. Almost homesteading with Janet. So, and I'm sewing with an off-white thread, you guys. Why? Because I'm a quilter, and most quilters sew with either gray, like a titanium gray, or with a off-white fabric. Even sewing black, we very, very seldom use black thread on black fabric. Why? Because it's like sewing with invisible thread. So now I'm turning my work over to see if I caught all the sides of this piece. You see where the batting is in the back? Because the worst thing in the world, and I've seen some of you live, is to go around something that you're sewing and then at the end find out that the seams, you didn't catch them. Thank you, Sissy. I love fabric. I think I love fabric more than food. I don't know. You can tell I love all of them, right? Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I check the back, this quality control here. So I'm going to take my handy dandy shears and I'm going to trim the excess edges off of here because remember I cut my backing a little larger and this was scrap batting. I knew that it was barely big enough. So now this one is getting close. I don't want to cut my good fabric. So I'm just trimming off the excess. Am I throwing this away? No. I can use the part that's blue in here for a strip quilt for something. And this is a labor of love. I just take my time. I don't rush. I'm retired. I don't have to be anywhere if I don't want to. So now, what you do in sewing in general, when you have square corners, you you square them off. So I'll turn the back of it so that you can actually see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't worry about if it's perfect or not. If it's not perfect, guess what? You can still eat on it. Salon Diva. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey girl, I saw you out there in the snow at your house. I did. I saw your dog out there. So everybody's speaking. I'm going to put this down so you can see me. So The batting, if you're using it, Janet, anybody else doing this, is actually on the bottom. And the two right sides of the fabric, the pretty sides, are together. And I'm going to stick my fingers in and turn this inside out. And I'm going to pull it through, pull it through. This is pretty. Purple is my favorite color, but teal, blue, any color blue are my second color, favorite colors. And those are the colors here in my downsized apartment. So I'm pushing the corners out. You don't want to push them so hard that you push through the fabric. And push. When I say push through the fabric, take the point and push it all the way through and put a hole in the fabric is what I'm trying to say. Guess I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Okay, okay. So I'm pushing this corner out. Pushing this corner out. Making sure I didn't, rubbing my hands over it, making sure I don't have any pins or needles inside. And so now I have an opening here that I have to sew shut. So I can either hand sew this, or I can either hand sew it, or I can machine sew it. So this particular time, just so that I can show you how, I'm going to press this with my fingers, my fingernails, and I'm turning the edges in, but I want to put a thin seam in. So I have my wooden iron as well, but I'm going to show you because everybody doesn't have a sewing machine. Someone was just in the chat and they didn't, and you can just as easily do it by hand. So here is a hand needle. It's already threaded, and I'm just going to put the needle in and slip stitch it. Why? Because I'm going to do a little border on here, and quilting is not the actual making of the top or the pretty part. Quilting is, by definition, is when you're making a sandwich, a sewing sandwich, and you're sewing all three layers together. So this can be either a placemat or a beautiful casserole dish. I actually have table mats on my table, my little glass table. I made a gold tablecloth for Christmas, but I took it off already. Sorry, you guys, I can't see the chat right this second, but I just have like 2 more stitches over here. I don't know what this, cut your strings as you go along. So this is just a little invisible seam that I'm sewing. Why? Because I can sew this closed with my sewing machine, but then I would have to sew very close to the edge to catch it. I don't want to do that. I want to put a thicker a thicker seam, as I'm going to show you, decorative stitching going around the edges, and then some in the middle. Why? Because this table mat is going to be beat up for years and years and years, and you want it to last. So I'm going to put some stitching down through the middle of it so that the cotton batting doesn't come loose inside. Garden State, so and so. Robin, I know you all got plenty of snow down there. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're feeling better. Hope everybody's doing okay. There are so many little bugs going around, and Fifi, be very careful. Fifi has chickens, you guys, and they just found 2 cases of the bird flu here in New Haven County, out in the country somewhere. I buy my eggs from one of my neighbor who lives in this building, but he also owns a small farm nearby in Bethany, Connecticut, where he keeps his chickens. Okay, so now this is sewn shut. You can't see that it's sewn. And normally I would get up and iron this. It doesn't need to be ironed. And I don't want to leave you guys. So I'm going to sew around the edges. But first, I'm going to put a row of stitches along here and a row of stitches along here so that over the years, if the cotton comes loose from the edges, it won't roll up. So let's make some quick little stitches along here. I'm going to stitch in the ditch. I just had my handy dandy little gloves. It makes it easy for the fabric to slide. So since I have them right here, I will put them on my hands. Thank you, Sissy, Auntie Joanne Stevens, for my little quilting gloves. I've had them quite a while, you guys. I don't use them that much, but I haven't been doing that much machine quilting. And when I did, I was using the Dollar Tree gloves so that you said, yes, you did. There's still snow on the ground. It's been so cold. The snow didn't even melt off the cars yet, unless you drove them. So, okay, now I'm just sewing, stitching in the ditch, a few stitches forward, a few stitches back. And when you stitch in the ditch, you guys, pull your hands apart a little bit. That's why I put the gloves on. So that I can pull it and the skin of my hands won't slip. So I'm doing it so that I can go right down beside. And since I'm using a light thread, I'm sewing just to the left of this dark purple so that you cannot see the stitches. The stitches should be down inside there, but just in case I missed, and I'm going down to about 1/4 of an inch. Yes, there are thread savers you can use. I don't have one over here right now. So I'm just going to pull this. You can use the thread savers if you want. So I stitched along here. I'm going to stitch along this side too, just to hold the batting down. And again, I'm going to sew on the lighter side. And how I can tell where the needle is actually stitching is that my needle is positioned in the center, and the foot that I'm using to sew with has like a little split in there, and exactly where that split is, that's exactly where my needle is sewing. So this time, instead of cutting the thread, here's a piece of string here. not string thread. Oh, that's the thread from the quilting I just did. So I'm going to come down and I will just start my stitching. And I'm going to stitch about a full third of an inch around the edges. So I'm going around here. Sorry, you guys. Janice said she'll be back. She has to go downstairs to find a needle to hand sew the opening so it will look better. Okay. So I'm sewing this and I'm making a very wide seam. Why? Because it's for decoration, not and to hold all three layers together close to the edges as well. You don't have to do this, but I've been sewing a long time and I find that sometimes the batting rolls up on the inside when you sew something that's going to have a lot of wear and tear. And again, you can make these any size you want. Any size you want. So you'll see I'm making a big wide seam, probably somewhere between 1/3 and half of an inch. Here's the thread from the other end where I just started, where I stitched in the middle. Okay. Okay. All right, we're coming in the home stretch, you guys. Oh, and we're almost done. Back stitch, and that's it. All right, you guys. Sorry, I couldn't see the chat for a minute. So, okay, we are done. So, of course, it will look differently when it's pressed. Here's the front. And here's the back of our double-sided table mat. Now, you see where the stitches are? Like here and here. That'll secure it in the inside to keep the batting from rolling up. Do you have any questions, anyone? Are there any questions? Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see some in denim. I'm excited, but I have too many things going on to be pulling out some denim and having it all over the place. Thank you, sister. And you can sort of see how nice and thick and cushiony it is. Got one. Sewing up that opening now. Good for you, Janet. I wanted you to see how nice and thick this is. And where I machine sewed around the back, I made quite some thick seams and stitching to keep the batting from rolling up. Okay, you guys. So, do you have any questions? I hope you enjoyed this. Mother, I'm going to call you in a few minutes. I don't know, my cursor is stuck. Oh, because I have my gloves on. Wow, that was interesting. I almost panicked for a minute. Mike says, that's awesome, Janet. You're awesome. You're awesome. So I will, you guys, I'll be live Thursday. I go live For those of you who are new or in the replay, I go live on Thursdays at 4 p.m., Saturdays at 6 p.m. And we'll be doing a little bit of all kinds of stuff. I cook. The channel is actually about gardening, cooking from scratch, quilting, of course, all of the arts and crafts, all of the arts and crafts, fine arts and traditional heritage arts, crochet, knitting, you name it. The macrame, the plastic embroidery, everything. So, Mother, Egoamote, I love you. I love each and every one of you, and I'm thankful for your support of the channel. I, in American Sign Language, L, you. I love you. Have a great evening, great weekend. Stay safe, everybody.